Yes, good afternoon, everybody. This is a presentation by Group2 on an LLM-based redash chatbot add-on. The group members of Group2 are Grace Ogundandaini and Joseph Njuguna. The business objective of this particular project was to build a novel readers chat add-on that team members could use to extract insights from multiple readers dashboards and from connected databases using natural language. The purpose of this is such that we can streamline data analytics processes within the organization, as well as it provides an avenue for data democratization in whereby staff with non-technical backgrounds could easily extract and visualize the data. For our project design, the first thing we did was to understand the project plan. It was very important that all members should have a clear understanding of the project. And once we understood what the project requires and the steps required to implement it, we then noticed that we had to install Redash and its prerequisites. So therefore, before we did any other thing, we installed Redash. Then we did proceed to the data understanding. The data understanding was YouTube data collected from YouTube. They had information to do with cities, geographical areas, as well as comments, etc. Once we did understand the data, we now had to prepare the data. This was a very crucial part because the data that was presented was of many folders, and we did have to do some data handling, some merging as well. So therefore, we first had to design a schema. Then we are now able to load our database onto the PostgreSQL. Then after that, we were supposed to now, the next step of the project was to integrate LLM and the visualization tools. For our tech stack that was used in this project, as I'd mentioned, we had the external data source in CSV format. We used PostgreSQL as our database. We used Docker to deploy complex software like Redash. Yes. Then for our back end, we were supposed to use Quat and LangChain. For the front end, we were supposed to have a Redash add-on, and concluding with the visualization, whereby the staff is supposed to now query the Redash add-on and then activate the LLM to get the insights.
Let me interrupt you for a second. Sorry. Why you are saying we are supposed to? Is this we were supposed to? You're saying that. Is this like just an expression, or did something happen and that you didn't implement all of this?
Yeah. When I say we were supposed to, it's because we weren't able to integrate the back end and the front end.
All right. So
Yeah.
continue. Yeah. Sorry. Just wanted to clarify.
Yes. My colleague Grace will continue with the presentation.
Okay. Thank you, Joseph. Hello, everyone. Great year. So for the methodologies, we considered using Jira, but the group number was quite small because we had one inactive member. So we mostly delegated our duties using Google Meet or on the Slack group. We also endeavored to have meetings, daily meetings, at least twice a day. We had in the morning to discuss the progress we made the previous day, and we had meetings in the evening to discuss the progress we've made throughout the whole day. So this helped us to collaborate more and work on the same level. Like I mentioned earlier, the Slack group channel provided a solid avenue for us to discuss our blockers and help each other out. Next slide, please. The challenges faced. So one of the major challenges we faced was installing and integrating Redash. Um, my partner and I come from a data science background, so using Docker and everything was quite new for us. So it was very challenging for us to install Redash. And personally, on my part, I had to upgrade to a higher system. I was thinking that was going to help solve the problem, but that didn't until I reached out on the group and I installed Ubuntu environment. So that was when I was able to integrate with Dash. So we also faced challenges building the chatbots and integrating it with Redash. So when we finally crossed all our hurdles, we had problems connecting our to Postgres database to the Redash server. So that was one of the major issues that we faced. Next slide, please. So the results obtained from this project overall, we're able to develop a clear understanding of the business objective. We were able to understand why the business needs the Redash chatbot and how it will be beneficial to both the company and their customers. We also understood how to successfully install Redash. Right now, like this past few days, Redash took us like days to install, but subsequently, something that took us like days to install, we should be able to install it. We are able to install it in a few minutes. So we also learned how to design schemas and load data into our database using PostgreSQL. With our backgrounds, we are more familiar with using SQL languages like MySQL and MS SQL. But this project taught us how to use PostgreSQL well. So, like I mentioned earlier, one of the lessons we learned was how to successfully install Redash. So we're able to go through the Redash source code. We're able to go through the compose file. We learned about the Redash secret key. We learned about the cookie key and how important it is to the installation. We also learned about SQL and database management. We learned how to import data using both Python and PostgreSQL. We learned how to design the schema. So the first thing we did was to design the schema. So after designing the schema, I made use of the PSQL command line interface to import the data into the database. And we also learned about OpenAI prompt engineering. We got a sneak peek on understanding how natural language processing works and how chatbots works. We also learned and got experience in deploying complex software package via Docker. We also learned how to install Node and also install Redash via Docker. So the soft skills we learned is group dynamics and collaboration. So I think that's something that I learned because I'm usually a lone wolf. I like to work alone, but like I learned how to collaborate and be accountable to my partner. And also we learned how to like ask each other for help and give help where needed. We also learned how to share our blockers on daily stand-ups and also on our groups. And we also learned the importance of asking for help, because if you don't ask for help, you can be stuck in one position for a very, very long time. So asking for help was something that we learned. Next slide, please. Limitations and future plans. So the major constraints of our project were, one, the group dynamics. It took us a while to settle into the group dynamics. One with the third partner, he just sent a message once, and after that, he went silent. So planning around each other's time and just communicating with each other was a problem at first, but we were able to overcome that. System capabilities from my end and also from my partner's end, we experienced system capabilities issues, but it's something that we'll be able to resolve, and future projects, we shouldn't face such a problem again. And thirdly, our time. So the time was something that was a bit of an issue for us, but we're able to overcome that eventually. So these constraints set the tone for our meeting. We spent the first 3 days trying to plan a meeting and all that, and we're not able to get around it. So our future plans to resolve this on the group meetings, I think the first thing we should do is, like, once we get a project in the future, we should dive in first and have a first meeting, even if we don't even know what the project is about. We should just have a first meeting and communicate with each other. And also we should, every team member should have a clear understanding of the project. I personally did not have like a clear understanding of the project at first, but eventually I was able to. And tasks to be delegated on the first day of the project. Yes, that's something we plan to work on in the future. And we also plan to make further research on how the projects can be implemented. And we also plan to continue working on this project in order to complete it. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you very much. That is all from our end. So we're ready to take any questions, recommendations.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. Okay, so I will start. And Rahmat, you can ask questions after. So in the end, you're saying that you haven't managed to implement most of the challenge because you're facing the problem with integrating Redash, basically. So the part that you said that you managed to do is creating a schema for the data. But can we see code for that, or like can you see the schema that you created, just to have some kind of to my understanding, that is the only part that you managed to do, right?
Yes.
So
Okay.
if you, okay.
So I'm going to share my screen.
All right.
Joseph, can you stop sharing screen? Okay.
So Rahmat, if in the meanwhile, if you have a question, like I just want to see like some kind of like, because like, yeah, you said a lot that what's the problem you faced, but like, really not in details. But
Okay, so this is the schema that we designed, and can I? So yeah, this is schema.
okay. Yes, can you go over it a little bit? Yeah.
So yeah, we selected I think we selected 6 of the tables. So we used I thought of it in a business. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yes, you can hear you and you can see your screen. Continue, please.
Okay, sorry. So I thought of it in a business sense and selected the tables that I felt would be important in decision making, and that's the viewer's gender, the viewer's age, their subscription status, the new and returning viewers, the geography, the content type, and cities. Why I selected these tables is because I wanted to have an overview, an idea of the kind of people who were looking into the content shown on YouTube and the type of content they were looking at and where they were from, so that it will help the company. It can help company in certain digital marketing campaigns and the likes to draw more customers to their YouTube page. So I was looking at it in the marketing sense.
Okay. Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay. If you have question on this, Mitalan, then go ahead or I start.
No, you can ask question. I think because you have 2 minutes till the next presentation, just give them another question.
Just one thing that I want to say is this is where it stopped your work progress for this group, Grace or Joseph, on the schema part. You have
Yes.
been able to add the chat add-on as well?
No, we haven't been able to. We had issues with connecting Redash to the Postgres database.
What about the add-on? Have you managed to add that one?
No, we haven't.
So at this point, the thing that I'm going to say would be advice. That is, you shouldn't, 1 week is more than enough to communicate with us, with the other trainees. There are groups that have managed to install the Redash add-on. That is the least thing you can do. So please be communicative for future projects. In this way, you're not going to be successful. You have to communicate more well. I know you mentioned that also on your slide, but it should be, you should take this seriously. There's a lot of people who could have helped you on installing the add-on at the least. And the Postgres connection, there are a lot of talk on the Slack as well, on the stand-up. So please be communicative for future projects. This shouldn't be all the work that you have done for this week, okay? Try to choose it. Will be future projects, group projects, and you should be able to be active.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for presenting what you have anyway. Thank you.
So, thank you, Group 2. It's understandable. This is the first time. Please, we'll expect you to do better next time. But yeah, time, consideration of time. All right. So next is Group 5, right?
Yes.
All right. Group 5, are you all present and ready?
Yes. Yeah. Me and Abu Bakr are here.
Right. Great. So go ahead, please.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, now I'm going to share. Okay. Okay. Can you see it now? Is it visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. First, me and Abu Bakr were the group members. First, the introduction. What's the project about? And the goal of this project was to create Redash chatbots that enables natural language-based questions, answering and autonomous data exploration. It means when a person asks with natural language that didn't know any SQL code, so it will write natural language, then it will bring an answer in natural language using LLM and using our database. And these are the steps that we did for the project. First, we try to install the Redash. Then we add chatbot to the Redash. Then we prepared the data schema. After that, we set up the database. Then we upload the data to the database. Then after that, we integrate OpenAI and LangChain. Then the last one, we try to visualize everything on Redash. First, Redash chatbot. These were our Redash chatbot, and these were our database schemas, our datas. For installing Redash, we use the resources that were given by you, and the first one for the Redash, and the second one is for the Redash chatbot. After that, for the preparing schema, we use the data given. These were our datas that have been given. So first, we try to extract the datas. We just the first one, and after that, it brings the output. In every folder, there is chart data, table data, and totals. So for the schema, we use those three CSV files. So first, after checking first we have to check if there is any null data inside. So after that, we sum sum the number of views by date. So we take the dates, then we sum it all. Then after converting the column to date time, because we want the column to have a date time format, then we merge table by all the table by the city name. Then finally, after we finish merging all the tables, we write it to the database table we prepared. This is the code we have been using for the tables. And this is the schema. And lastly, when the database connection, the steps we use, we first initialize the database connection, because the database connection objects with provided database credentials. Our credentials, we found this from render. We use the render, not the local one. So we take the provided database credentials, then establish a connection to the database like this. Then we execute a SQL queries for the database. At last, we add data to we add the tables to the database. Okay. After this, Abubakar will continue.
Okay. Thank you very much, Disu.
Okay.
So, right.
Okay. Can I share it for you? Or?
No, it's fine. I'm sharing. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. So, most of the introduction has been mentioned by Disu. So, what we have actually been able to accomplish was prompt generation. Most of the codes that you see here are for the LLM to understand. For example, for our prompt engineering, we had to actually query our columns and the tables and their column names, so that for the LLM to understand it better. So for that too, we actually made a string, a full string that we can give it to we can give it to the LLM to have a better context. So we had to actually code it in a way that is better to understand, as you can see on the screen. So we made those strings and gave it to the LLM so it can better understand. So, but before we actually did that, we took many steps, so such as querying the column names from our database, cleaning the returned column names so that it can have even better understanding. So which ones are the table names, which ones are the column names. So those are all the functions that does all the work. So we actually also renamed the columns to better understand the LLM. So as much as possible, we have tried everything to give the context for all LLM to give it a better ground. So this is the last function that actually generates the previous text based to be sent to LLM. So this is all about the LLM. So about function calling, we actually made a function call to fetch the data for us to be added to the dashboard. So I think we planned in integrating the long chain, but I think it was failing for some reason. But we used the OpenAI API key and actually made that possible. So this is the execute function call after the OpenAI was queried for the database for the SQL. So after the SQL is generated, we we actually give it to the function for such as ask database to ask for the data. I will, okay. So this is all about function calling and the prompt engineering. So I will show you some demo. Let me change the for a minute. So I'll share you the demo what we were able to accomplish. Okay, so can you hear me, guys? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So this is where we set up the. You can see the screen, right? So we created a credential to log in. Okay. So this is console is for you to better understand what's going on the data. So actually we automated the creating the data source so that we were not able to do it over and over again, giving the port name, the as he mentioned earlier, as Adiso mentioned earlier. So we actually made created automatically. So as you can see in the screen, we are giving it the API key and running the data source creation. So as you can see, when you go to the data source, you can see the render new API. So I'm testing the connection now. So the bot is there. So when we ask it, it's like it can be any data source. So give me the top cities by view. I'll give all context on the limitations, how we can get how this wasn't the first try. So this was like in 20 try. So we generated the query. So we can see the query here. So you can see the visualization that it queried on here. It also created the dashboard. So generated dashboard from API. It's auto-generated, so you can see the generated from the query that the bots actually used. So I think, yeah. So you can see the generated query by editing the source. So here is the query that was generated by LLM. So here is the table data. On the left side, you can see everything. Okay, so I think it's over. Okay, so okay. Next up on our limitations. So we have been running actually a Ubuntu virtual machine. It's like it may be beneficial for development, but it may present the scalability challenge. Plus, it's not some kind of limitation, but we actually have a hard troubles like compiling code. So sometimes like it took 53 minutes. Like that was a lot. So I think for development there must be a better way, since we are changing a one code and we have to get it right the first time. It means like if you don't want to wait like 53 minutes. So render, also the next limitation is render facilitates easy access, but like connectivity issues might kill render for compilation again. So like poetry was really taking long time. Like there are many layers of complexity that we are doing here is using the API for our feature implementation. We are planning to go on the backend, so we can integrate advanced predictive analytics such as like this is just showing what's there. So we can move to where we can predict like models, creating models and everything. So like integrating more sources, not only the YouTube data, all the data that in the organization. So it could be a good way. So as I said earlier, implementation through the backend system, that would be a good idea. So another integration for future could be that our chatbot doesn't have memory. For example, if I reload it, maybe we don't have time to show that, but if we reload it, we lose the previous conversation. So integrate for past memory, UI updates, like UI seems all over the place. So maybe we can find a better way for it, a better place that actually integrates to the Redash UI. So the dynamics dashboard direction for all column names. So what I'm trying to say is some of the column names fail because of how the API we did. So I think to better understand, probably we need to include the source code. So I think we could be doing better on dynamic dashboard generation. So in conclusion, like we have learned a lot, like from collaboration to having a creative way of finishing this project. So we have been exposed to the capabilities of LLM, like with the right prompts, I think we can do a lot. So we also have been exposed to the capabilities of Redash. So like now it's like through time we can actually collaborate on or add some collaboration to Redash. So because we understand the source code base. I think this is it on our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just
Yeah. Yeah,
okay,
go ahead. Sorry.
Internet. Yeah, it's a very an excellent work. Group 5 entirely. You just meet almost all the all the requirements. You have done it well. I like the way you try to make the connection with the database. That shows your problem solving skill for Group 5. Your critical thinking is way up high. So I really appreciate how you put the efforts and you managed to do all the work. I also appreciate you the limitation. There are in fact limitations. Is not the right way to develop as a developer waiting those amount of time. So I do like that you mentioned that in your future plans. I'm not gonna ask any questions because I really like the project, how you guys do it very much. But I will ask only I see Salam also is member of your group. Is she not working with you guys? Or?
Yes, we actually tried to reach out several times. We actually haven't got any response, or we actually notified Rodas even when before the start of the project.
Okay, good. Good. So that's good that you did that. But you have done for 2 members in groups. You have done really well at in the project. So just for future, all the future recommendations that you give can make the project much better. You mentioned on your presentation. So try to add that one for future. It can be a very good project for your resume and profile. So work on that for our Karin Adisu. I'm going to ask everyone to give them another reaction because they have done a really good job. Thank you for working on it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Imtinan,
It wouldn't happen from when if this group wasn't there.
it's everybody's effort. That's it. Just wonderful work. Imtinan, you can add up.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, very good job. As Rahmat said, is you did well. So I have a question actually. I want to clarify on something you mentioned in the limitation. You said like there is a problem with the tables names, but I didn't quite get what was the issue. What was happening? Can you explain a little bit?
Yeah, but I actually didn't test it enough, but it works well on like three or four data question. For example, when asked for a pricing system, it generates the dashboard, the visualization, and everything works. So I'm just like articulating that since the columns, for example, to give visualizations or the names for how can I say it? Like the dashboard needs a parameter such that what columns are on the x-axis and what columns are on the y-axis. So I wanted it to be more dynamic. What I did was just add it on an array all. So make the initial array the x and the rest could be y. So that's how I was able to do that. But I just thought there could be a better way. We can do it a better way with time.
Okay, I see. So is this like a question where you can use the generative model to do this for you, or is this like
it's some kind of pause because like the SQL generated by the LLM could give you the SQL. So I think we have to extract the column names that are going to be visualized.
You get the right SQL query, like always. How much of the time?
Like 95% of the time, it's like great. The prompt is really to the point. Like I got it was very tiresome to get the prompt exactly like that. But after we optimized the string we give it to the prompt, I think we are using the prompt still. So that shows that it's like consistent.
All right. Okay. So I'm not going to harbor on this long. I will give my other colleagues a chance to ask questions. But yes, I'm asking here just like a feel of how much of the time it works. And we didn't actually have this on this challenge, but later on we'll have to have like some kind of actual measurement of how well the prompt works. So there will be actual evaluation and actual testing that we'll need to see. But good work so far. So I will hand on. Oh, yeah? Do you want to say something?
It would be a good idea to. I'm just like what I said, like 90% of the time is just like from the top of my head.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm asking for right now. But yeah, I'm saying that for the future.
The structure would be beneficial. I think if you share it, it would be a great idea.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So. Nathaniel, do you have any questions for them?
Okay, yeah, Abu Bakr and Adi, that was a really good job. I joined somehow on the demo part, but I can imagine the work you have put through. I just want to ask one question: How complex was your query while you are testing it? So because it was just a basic select statement that you have demoed, but how far have you guys gone to actually test and check your prompt is working or not? How complex queries were you actually asking it? If you got the question right.
Okay, yeah. So I think I've been trying to get the prompt right for complex queries. So I think I tried it like 3 times because this was just like I had to test the prompt once it was given to like the small prompts was easier to test. I didn't actually had time to test it, but once or twice we get a really good result on complex queries. So until now, I haven't had a situation where it's failed on complex queries. So I think we'll be testing it thoroughly, like these 2 days, I guess.
Okay, yeah, excellent. I liked the presentation, and it was a really good demonstration. So thank you, guys.
I have a question, if you don't mind, Abu Bakr, and So, yes, I'm looking at the code you have submitted on your final submission. You're
Yeah.
working in an organization, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So in the repository, I'm seeing comments only from commits only from one account. What happened?
Yeah.
What happened there?
It was yeah. Can I talk? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
It was from Abu Bakr,
Mhm.
and my redash was not working for the whole week, and even Rahmat was helping me on that problem, and that's why I didn't commit anything. We were doing on Abu Bakr's, and I was just helping him, and
I
he
see.
was updating him. That's why he was updating me.
I see. So, what about the part about the schema, that the one that you explained? Actually, you didn't commit that to your. You didn't.
I didn't commit anything. I was just because at the last time when I yesterday when I tried to commit it, my PC breakdown. At last, I was telling
I see.
Abubakar also.
I see. I see.
Yeah,
Okay, so it was
so
you were facing technical problems. Fine.
yeah, yeah.
That's okay. 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 Thank you for this. Any final questions for them?
No, nothing from my side.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, let's see. Let me just ask one final question since we have some time. So, this is a question for you. So, like, I know that you stopped at some, like, you did a lot of good work, but what will be like the next step that you think, like, if you had just like time to work on this, say your redash is working, what will be the next step for you to implement?
Okay. I mean, okay. So
Sorry, Abu Bakr, I
yeah.
want others to answer this question. Sorry.
Okay. For the future, it doesn't have memory now.
Yeah.
First, yeah, I want to try everything on my computer also. If when I resolve everything, then after that, I want to do the memory part because everything is working now. So the memory part, I want to see that also.
So what will be like something that you are going to attempt to, like, exactly how are you going to try to add the memory?
I was just yesterday. I was just seeing the some tutorials after using the long chain, how to use the memory. So I want to try that one. And now
So
I'm not
you mean the memory for the
the
chatbot?
chatbot. Yeah. Because
I
now
see.
it doesn't have any memory. So how to do that one? That's my future.
So
After
at the
I
moment you
try
cannot
everything.
ask. Sorry, to clarify, at the moment you cannot ask your chatbot a follow-up question.
No.
Okay, I see. All right. Good. Yeah. So that would be, yes. That actually would be going a good next step. That is not going to be super. It's going to be super useful, of course. For it to be a chatbot, it has to be. You have to be able to ask for all questions. That would be a good thing. Okay. Thank you very much. So I think we can stop here.
Thank you.
Yes. So next group is let me say check. So we have group 8. Are you ready? We have a couple of minutes. Actually, you can prepare yourself for that. That's like Yes. Hello, do you hear me? All right. So group 8, are you here? Anyone from group 8? Grace, Mixer, and Gilbert. Okay. This is not good. What are I don't see anyone from group 8 actually. So the next group is going to be group 11, right? Are group 11 around? Anyone from group 11 is here?
Yeah, we're around.
Okay, good. So you know that you are next.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So how much should we give group 8 to join? Rahmat?
Yeah, let's start with group 11. We are talking to them. I think we
Okay,
start with
Mixer is here. Mister, are you ready for your presentation?
Yeah.
Yes,
wait
I
a second.
just know that I thought it was later for tonight. I don't think we have prepared the PowerPoint, and I'm waiting for the rest of the team members to join. I have notified them already.
All right. So, but why are you not ready? Wasn't this on the schedule? You didn't see it, or what happened?
I have seen the schedule, but I thought it was like, I think I made a mistake. I thought it was later, not now.
All right. Okay. So you have half an hour to prepare. Please, like, just whatever you have, you have to present. Don't lose your chance. And notify your teammates. So,
okay.
All right. Group 11, are you ready to present right now?
Yeah. Then go ahead, I think.
Okay, great. That's actually a good help. So since we have anticipated your presentation, so but if you're ready, you can go ahead.
Martin, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Good afternoon, guys, everyone. We're Group 11. I'm Martin, and we have 3 team members: Melaku and Hermes. Hermes has been away He's away, so it's just going to be the 2 of us to present. So we're doing. I hope you can all hear me well. We're doing Redis chatbot using LLM. So let's talk about the business aspect. So the business objective, the primary objective is the primary business objective of this project is significantly enhance our company's data analysis capabilities, and it's to focus specifically on exploration of the data and to develop a Redis chatbot that will enable the user to carry out certain insights, to extract certain insights from the chatbot. Yeah, so that's the business objective. Then the design approach that we're going to create a user interface where we shall use React. That will be a front-end component for user interaction. Then we shall have a Redis platform, which will do data analysis and visualization. It will have both a front end and a back end. And then we shall have a chatbot as well. Yeah, the chatbot will analyze the user queries and provide the insights. And then we also have a visualization engine to generate visualization based on the data it has retrieved from Redis, transform the data into meaningful charts, graphs, and other visualization representations. And then vector databases, which will store vector representation or embedding of data for efficient querying and retrieving of the data. And then the stack used. And the stack we opted to implement, this is the stack we decided to use to implement during this project. We're using Redis. Redis serves as the core platform for data visualization and analytics. And then we're using React for the front-end system. We're going to use React, which is a JavaScript library for building user interfaces, and it allows the creation of dynamic and responsive user interfaces for the Redis chatbot. Then we shall use Postgres. We're going to use Postgres SQL for data storage and querying. Postgres is our relational database management system. Yeah, so we're also going to use it to create the schema and the tables and the data. Then we're going to use Cohort, which is as the backend system. It's a version of Flask, which is going to be Flask is a Python web framework. That's what we shall use for the backend. Then LangChain to integrate the language models, and OpenAI for natural language processing. Yeah. Then the methodologies we decided to use, we're using Angular, the Angular-based system. Okay, our plan was to basically break down the project into manageable tasks amongst ourselves, so that we can be able to how can I say? Amongst ourselves for efficient development. Then we're to use Git for vision control to ensure proper collaboration during the development process, and carry out continuous unit testings for individual code components before we push it into the repo. After we push it into the repo. Yeah, and then what else? Yeah, and then from here, Malik will take over from me and take you on through here.
Okay, thank you, Martin. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and present the rest of the project. So, the challenges we faced is one of the biggest challenge we faced is to integrate LLM into our project. So this is still ongoing process, and we're working on to integrate LLM into our project. Another challenge is I think everyone in our 10 Academy, every 10 Academy student has this issue, at least most of them. So installing Rodash locally is a bit, it has hurdles, and it's one of our challenges. The other challenge is working with a Dockerized environment in our project. And the last challenge we faced is loading the data into Postgres. This was one of the tasks that took much of our time. So the next thing is the results we get. So we set up Redash and we connected with Postgres. We defined a database schema for our YouTube data. We were able to create the schemas, create a script that will create the schemas and create a table for us. And we were able to create a script that will load the data into the tables we created. For the front end, we integrated the ChatGPT add-on, and for so we were able to load data from our the TZV files into our database. For our backend system, we were able to create Python backend using Cohort, but we were not able to implement it fully. So we are able to run it with the other containers in Docker, but we are working on to implement the LLM part with Cohort. So here, this is the Docker containers we created for our project. As you see, we have around 5 Docker containers for the Postgres database, Redash, and a couple of services for other services such as email and server for Redash, and our backend using Cohort. Here, as you can see in the screenshot, we were able to create the tables in our Postgres container in a schema named YouTube data. We were at least 14 or 13 tables in our schema. As a sample for our data loading, we were able to load our data into some of the table. And as you can see, we are visualizing the traffic source table, and it has the data in it. This is a Postgres URL showing that successfully set up Redash. I mean Redash, yeah. And we successfully connected Redash with Postgres. As you can see in the screenshot, it's showing us success. And this is the chatbot that the chatbot UI we integrated to our Redash UI. As you can see the screen, or in our localhost, you can see that we successfully implemented the UI integration with our Redash. So the next thing is lessons that we learned. The lessons that one of the biggest lessons we learned is the value of defining a clear schema at the start of the project. So that's what we spend most of our time, clearing up the data and having a clear database schema for our project. And the other lesson is we're about to implement the NLP part and the LLM part, but we want to explore more alternatives other than the ChatGPT add-on. And we were able to see the value of collaboration and teamwork in our project. We were able to divide tasks between ourselves, and we were able to accomplish tasks based on our responsibilities. And the next thing is the limitation in our future plan. Time management is our first limitation, and we never had enough time to discuss our progress, and we were not able to meet frequently as needed. Our future plan is to create a time to meet more frequently than we did, and communicate more with each other and update about the progress we made and the blockers we get. And our other future plan is to commit and push work on time and more frequently as possible. Our next step is to focus on our primary focus next is to develop the LLM part of the project and make the UI more user-friendly and interactive, so that it will do the main focus of the project. And we are planning to refine the database schema, conduct unit testing, and add a CI/CD to our project. So the significant process in the project has been set up, and the core infrastructure such as Redash, Postgres, and data loading was done. But the significant part of the project, which is the LLM, should be implemented. So we are working on adding that into our project. Thank you. That's the last part of the presentation. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you very much for this. So questions? Okay, let me start. Can you clarify? I understand that you said like you managed to create the chatbot, but you didn't manage to integrate the LLM. I didn't get this. What was the problem exactly, and how are you planning to solve it? Like if you had time.
There was a repo to set Redash locally, and there is another repo to integrate the UI, the chat UI into Redash. So we successfully did that, and the next part is to actually make the requests to the database and retrieve from the natural language that the user enters into the UI. That's why what I said by what I mean by LLM.
I see. So, and what about you said you faced a challenge with maybe I'll ask Martin about this. You said you faced a challenge with uploading the data to the Postgres. What was the issue? Like it doesn't seem like it should be a problem.
Oh, the issue I had was I was able to install Redash really well on I think by Wednesday or Tuesday. But then I reached the part of I'd created the database earlier because I'm done working the schema. I created the database earlier using pgadmin, but then after I realized it couldn't connect to Redash, so I had to pull the image, the Postgres image from Docker, and then create it to create the database, just the database using the Postgres shell. But then I did all that, but then still couldn't make a connection with Redash. So that really took time for me, and it killed most of my time. Okay. Yeah. So
I see. So it was a problem with connecting the Redash with Postgres.
Yes, that was
Okay.
that was my
And
major.
how did you manage to solve the problem?
How did I manage to solve it?
Mm-hmm.
I spoke to someone. I spoke to someone in the community. I spoke to Hillary, and Hillary showed me how to do it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was.
So the question was like, can you see what was the problem and how it was solved?
Oh, what was the problem?
Yes.
The problem was that Redash didn't know what database to connect to. There was a connection. They didn't know what database. They didn't know how to connect to. I think there's something to do with Docker.
Yes,
Okay,
it is exactly with Docker. Yeah.
No, it has something to do with Docker. I can
Mm-hmm.
I can explain it, but probably showing it to someone. But yeah, I think because we're running Redash on Docker, since we're using Docker,
Mm-hmm.
so Redash couldn't pick. Redash couldn't connect to Postgres because I hadn't selected the specific. Hadn't selected what Postgres it had to connect to, because since we're using Postgres on Docker, I had to get the image from Docker and create the database there using that specific image, the specific container, and then Redash should be able to pick that whatever database I'd created from there.
Okay, great. Good. Yeah, so this is good that you ask someone from your colleagues. Also, I'm asking because when you face problem like this, you have to understand what is the source of the issue, and the source of the issue is probably, I'm guessing, but it's probably, this is the issue, is that it is because you have Redash running in a container, in a Docker container, it doesn't know directly how to connect to the network. If you have Postgres locally, you have to map these IP addresses and stuff. You have to figure that out, or you can run Postgres on a container as well. So it's good that you understand what is the source of our problem. This is going to help you in the future just to understand more about Docker. Sorry if I took so much time. Rahmat, not now. Have questions?
I think you covered most of the questions because based on what they have done. But I would say, is Hermes hasn't participated in your group work, Malaku?
He was at the start of the project. We divided the task that I would work on the front end, and Hermes said that he would work on the back end, and Martin was working on the data loading and the data extracting part. So we divided tasks, and for the certain point of time, he was replying and we were communicating, but after Saturday, he's not replying. So probably he's not okay, or he's not feeling good.
Okay. So you guys know what your issue is from what I hear. So if you are given a chance in the future, you know where to go from, who to ask. I just want to know your plans to specifically finish up this project. You are given the chance.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot that you guys haven't done.
Yeah.
So, I'm not asking you to tell me the general thing that you will do, but the specific things from the presentation that you have right now, just to see how much you understand the project. I want to see, so could you say something?
So my plan on the project, our plan was to first understand the data, load the data part, and make everything work separately. So we have steps that we can follow, such as making Redash work, making the front end work first, and connecting Redash with Postgres. So our next step that we planned is to work on the back end and integrate it with the front end that we created.
Okay. What about on the concept of LLM? What can you do?
I want to talk about LLM. Would
Okay.
like to understand LLM and how the models work, how OpenAI works, and how we can integrate it with the projects, and all the different ways in which we can integrate it into the project, and how we can do the visualizations and the queries. Yeah, but our main plan is in the future is to really understand how prompt engineering works and how it's significant in the project and LLM as well. So we want to understand that so that when we get to implement it in the project, we have much more information on it. So those are our future plans if we get time to do the project again.
So this week project is not only about creating the chat add-on on the Redash, it's about also introducing you to the AI part. So while these are errors that are kept you from working happens, you also have to make sure you are in line with the concept. At least you have a proper plan. So when this kind of error happen on the installation and everything, just don't waste your time on that one. Just by side, make sure you have a clear plan in detail about these new concepts. At least you will be ready for the next week project. So yeah, I just don't see that much of understanding in the LLM. Just still you have a plan to know more about LLM and prompt engineering. It shouldn't be like that. You should be able to answer those questions, at least in theory. So just don't focus on your energy in one task, or that doesn't work. Try to be multitasking, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but thank you for presenting what you have. That's what we want at the end. So over to you, Imtinan or Mahna, if you have any question.
Okay, I just have one question, and that was a great presentation and great walkthrough what you have actually accomplished. But I just want to ask you one question: why weren't you guys meeting that often? Because I just don't know why the reason. Like I actually didn't understand the reason, and I was going through your group chat, and there weren't like really that much of communication between you guys.
We had created before the project, before the groups had been created, we had created Hermes created a group, our individual group. We had a private group. I don't know if people could see it, but we already had created a private group, so we were already communicating in the group more. And then yeah, we would do like occasional meetups, like calls for like maybe we used to do at 9. Yeah, but the other week, at the beginning of the week, we met one, we had one where we all met and discussed what everyone's going to work on. But then over the weekend, my PC crashed, so I had to go get another one. But then this week we met on Monday, we met yesterday, we met today in the morning as well. Yeah, so it was more of a technical issue, it was more of a technical issue, more than where we just didn't create time to meet. Yeah, and then when Hermes disappeared, we didn't know exactly what was going on, but Melik and I still kept in touch in the group. Yeah, and in individual, like texting ourselves, discussing.
Okay, great. Just make sure to improve for the next time on what you want to and what you actually listed as future improvements. Just make sure to think about those while on the next project. Thank you, Wandra and Malaku.
Yeah, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Group 11, and thank you because like they took the place of Group 8, which was like they were ready ahead of time, which is good. Group 8, are you here?
Yes, we are here.
All right. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so for group of three, we first decided to divide the tasks among our team, and my task was to work on the Redash chat add-on. First, but I will start with the business objective of the project. So the project required us to develop a Redash chat add-on that can be used for users can type a query or in a natural language, and it will be translated into a query, and the users can easily copy the query and visualize on the dashboard. So our project design was first to understand the Redash, how Redash works, and to understand the data set that was provided for us. And then we tried to design a schema that will be a good fit for the YouTube data. Then we tried to, we cloned the Redash source code and integrated the chat add-on. After that, it will be the backend part where we translate your queries into SQL and generate visualization, and then integrating the design integration approach for LLM and using modern tools and frameworks for the workflow. So I started with designing the YouTube schema. For the data, I divided the data into 3 tables for analytics, location, and for users' behavior, whether they are new or returning. So for my analytics, it stored data related to the content type, the device type, or the operating system, and the sharing service, and also the subscription source. For the location, I used the cities table, and for the news and returning for the new and returning viewers, I used the new and returning viewers column. For my part, it was to integrate the Redash chat add-on and run it in a Dockerized environment. So on Docker, I was able to create the container, and I was also able to run the Redash chat add-on. But I wasn't able to connect my database to the Redash, and also Redash wasn't giving me answers, and I tried to ask why. Rahmat told me that it may be because my OpenAI key is broken. So I tried to change the OpenAI key, but I don't seem to find the solution. So these are the parts that I worked on. My teammate, Grace, has worked on the LLM part. Grace, can you continue presenting?
Okay. Hi, everyone. I was part of the teammates. Just a minute. Mr. Is it okay if I continue with the presentation?
Yes.
Could you kindly share your screen? I'm having some problems.
Okay, sure.
Okay, yeah, for the LangChain part, I was working on the backend, and that included the task 4, which was the LLM, and the LangChain part. So the LangChain part, the steps that I took was first I defined the tools, and then I converted the tools into OpenAI functions, and then I initialized the chat model, and then I defined a prompt consisting of the system message and the user question, the system message, where I fed the data with I fed the prompt with the database that we had. using the schema that my colleague had created. So I added the list of tables in the database and the past inputs. So among the tools that were I had defined were to execute the SQL, to get the table functions, and get the table columns and get table column. Yeah. So I tried the chat completion, but I was not really able to work. I had an error with my API. And the error was that I had an incorrect API key. But however, I was still able to write some code for the chat completion part, which with more time, I'm hoping so that I can work on the API part. So the challenges first, we had an issue with the integrating Redash to database. For almost all of us, we were able to do that yesterday. And then for me, the API key part, it wasn't working for me. Running Redash consumed a lot of time. And I had issues with my Docker at first, and it took quite a long time to even understand the concepts of the LLMs and the lang chains. So we were not really able to integrate that backend with the Redash. Yes, so for the limitations was the time constraint. And the plans is to work on understanding the frameworks and refining the visualizations on Redash. Yeah, that's it for me.
Okay, so are you done with your presentation?
Yes, I think we're done.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you. So, Rahmat and Natna, any questions?
Is the OpenAI chemistry you were using, did you get it from Flickr or was it a free key?
I was using a free key.
Yeah. What about the API key Flickr was distributing for everything?
Yes, that wasn't also working for us. As Grace told you, it wasn't working for us.
So I think you reached out to me too late, but just for future, you can inspect it on the browser to see what actually the error is, because we still don't know what is causing the error, right? So if you go into your browser, there's an option to inspect that error. If you right click on the browser, there's an option that says inspect. On that inspect, you click the console option, and when the user writes something on the chat bot and an answer is not being responded, an error will be shown on that particular console dialog. So maybe we can meet after this one and I can show you. So you have to not leave the error to fix it.
Yes, I've tried to inspect it and there was no error message on the console. I was also getting a 200 response, which seems to be fine, but somehow any kind of response wasn't being displayed on the dashboard. So I think that it will be beneficial for us if you show me later after this session.
Good. So just for any kind of this error, you and Grace, you should communicate with us and other trainees right away and try to fix it. You shouldn't stop nagging us and help you to fix it. Okay, just don't lose connection at the middle and come back again. Your communication should be consistent until you get what you want regarding your error or questions, whatever it is. Okay.
Okay.
So one thing that I'll say is improve your communication, both of you. On the women's session, all the session that is being held, please communicate.
Okay.
So, Imran, could you just...
Okay, so to I think actually don't.
Just one thing, maybe I just want to see how much you understand the project. So maybe Grace, if you can just say something about what were you planning, all of these errors were working, what were your plans on the prompt engineering, how you will connect the LLM. It's just, do you guys have talked about what your plan would be to implement the project at the end, if all the errors that you mentioned today have been worked? Just to see how much you understand what is expected from both of you to do the project. Grace, I'm asking you if you can unmute and speak.
I'm not sure I understood the first part of the question.
Okay, I'm asking, I want to see how much you guys understand what's expected from you guys to implement this project. So if all the errors that you mentioned, the OpenAI or everything will have worked, what was your next step? What would you have done in detail? On the prompt engineering, on the connection of LLM with the data, just in an idea, what would be your procedure?
I'm not sure how to explain myself. I think.
Okay, maybe just tell me on the prompt engineering part. So there were a tutorial given. So what was your plan on that regarding on the prompt engineering? What do you have done for the LLM regarding the prompt engineering?
I think if the prompt was able to collect the data essentially from the API key, it was able to collect the data that we had in hand, and I was able to connect it with the chatbot, with the redash, it would be possible to write queries and get the queries through the prompt to the database. Not sure.
Okay, what about Mr.?
Since we've been focusing more on the blockers, trying to solve our blockers, we haven't prepared a plan on how to continue the next steps, but I think we will be integrating the front end and the back end so that the queries that are sent from the front will be received on the back end, and after they are sent to the LLM,
Okay. So I'm gonna say the same thing that I say the group 11. You should practice doing multitasking. Just don't focus on one error for the whole week. Make sure to divide the tasks. Some of you should come up with plan. In each consult, you have to also parallelly understand what's expected. Just having a plan of what you guys will be doing will give you some kind of starter point. When if everything works, you will not be start from scratch to understanding what's asked. Because if you have a proper plan, you will just write them into implementing that plan. So just make sure to improve your multitasking. Just don't be fixed on one problem, especially given it's a group project. You should be able to share the struggle as well. Okay.
Okay.
But other than that, thank you for presenting what you have. That's what we want. It's a good, I appreciate that you present, even though, whether it's blocker or difficulty. What we want is to present what you have, and thank you for presenting that.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Imtinan, Nathnael, over to you guys.
Okay, I have one question. I think Gilbert was active on Slack, but he's not here to present. So maybe you might have mentioned it, but why was just the presentation with just the two of you? Where is he?
Well, I have been trying to reach out to Gilbert from the beginning, but as you can see on the group message, he isn't very much responsive. And before we joined the meeting, I've also told him that we are supposed to be presenting now, but he was online, but he's not responding. So I really don't know why.
Okay, but he did participate in the whole project, right?
He helped a little bit on the chatbot integration.
Yes, also at first, he was working on the database schema together with me, but somehow in the middle we lost him.
Okay, so have you tried to reach out and know why that was? Because it will affect your work one way or the other. You have to know, and also you have to report to the team if he is not responding, because it will be reflected badly on you two guys, because there will be a lot of loads.
Yes, I've tried to reach him out. He told me that there was a power outage a few days, but actually he's not even responsive for me on the Slack, and I don't know any other way to reach him.
Okay, so my next question would be, in the plans, it's just you just put plans involving refining automatic visualization on Redash, but you mentioned like you haven't integrated it in the first place. You haven't integrated the chatbot with Redash in the first place. Am I correct?
Yes, you are correct. So for the integration, I was trying to implement the solution that Hilary posted on the general resources, but it's not working for me. So I'll be looking for some other solutions.
Okay. How about Chris?
For me, my plans is to better understand more of the concepts. The LangChain, I have not really totally understood them. I think if I do totally understand the concepts, we will be in a position to implement the project better.
Okay. Thank you, guys. I'm done with my questions from my side.
Okay, so I have one final question. I'm just looking at your repository, that's the one you submitted, and I can see actually contributions from Mr. and Gilbert, but not from Grace. Like what have happened? What happened there?
I had forked the repository from my colleague earlier, and then I have my changes on a different branch, but not necessarily as a contributor.
Okay, so you have like a forked repo, not participating, yes, not contributing the same repo. I see. Okay. Okay, this is a question. Of course, like having an organization would have been like better, but this is fine as well. All right. I think we can end here since there are no more questions. And this is like the final presentation for today. So thank you everyone who have presented. Like and yeah, let's hope that you take every yes, Rahmat, go ahead.
Sorry, that was not intended. Sorry.
So stay. Yeah, so I was just saying, like, please, like any comment that was made for you or any advice that was given, keep it in mind. Again, we're going to be doing these presentations again, so please be better prepared. For everyone who wasn't prepared today, wasn't prepared enough, be better prepared next time. It doesn't matter that you finish your project or not. You have to really just be organized and show like what you have done, what you plan to do in the future, and have it all like ready to show, like to show your work basically. So that's the goal of the presentation. You don't need to have everything done. Okay, so yeah, with that, like I will wish you a good evening, and that's it. Okay, let's end the recording.